Cranberry Cottage that waited for autumn wasn't being patient. It was hiding something the entire village refused to talk about. Tonight, let that sentence soften. There's nothing frightening here, and there never was. Only a small red house at the edge of a cranberry bog, out on a cold and quiet stretch of the New England coast, waiting the way old wooden things wait. You can let the day set its weight down now. You've carried it far enough. The bed holds you. The pillow takes the shape of your head. The room grows dim at its edges. And somewhere out past the fog, the cottage stands with its cedar shutters and its low garden of berries, keeping a secret that isn't really a secret at all. Only a thing the village had felt for so long, they'd forgotten how to say it out loud. The house always knew when autumn was coming, not by the calendar nailed to the kitchen wall, not by any date a person could circle, by something quieter, held deep inside its own walls. By the end of this, you may already be asleep. That's all right. Let the fog come in, slow and gray and soft. Breathe out, slow, and let your shoulders drop an inch, then another. The village sat along a gray coast where the wind came in off the water carrying salt, and the smell of wet peat, and the faint sweetness of ripe fruit. In the daytime, the bog glowed a deep, dark red, thousands of cranberries floating on flooded water, catching the low autumn sun and holding it like coals. But it's evening now. The pickers have all gone home. Their long wooden rakes lean against a weathered shed, still damp from the day's work. The water has gone still and black and smooth as glass. And at the top of a gentle slope, the little cottage watches over all of it, the way it has for longer than anyone now living can remember. Its windows are dark, its chimney is cold and waiting. There is no hurry in this place, none at all. Nothing here needs you to do a single thing. Just rest and let the picture fill in around you, board by board, berry by berry, breath by breath. There was a keeper of the cottage, an old man named Elias, though most of the village simply called him the caretaker. You never quite saw his face, and you don't need to. Only his shape, moving slow behind the amber glass when he lit the lamp. Only the suggestion of his hands worn smooth as driftwood, setting an iron kettle on the stove. Every autumn, Elias came back to open the house and see it through the cold. And every autumn he arrived on a different day. Some years he came early, while the leaves were still green. Some years he came weeks late. The village found this strange, even troubling. A man ought to keep a schedule, they'd murmur. But Elias never once watched the calendar. He waited for the house itself to tell him. He would press his palm flat against the cedar wall beside the door and close his eyes and simply listen. And when the wood answered him in its low wooden voice, he knew it was time. That was the very thing the village could never quite bring itself to explain. Watch the way he moved through the rooms that first evening. No rushing anywhere. He lit the lamp first, a small brass lamp with a clear glass chimney, its flame a soft and steady gold. Then the stove. One match struck once, a low blue ring of fire breathing beneath the kettle. He hung his heavy coat on its peg by the door. He set his boots down neatly, toes turned to the wall. Each thing in its place, each night the very same. There is a rare kind of peace in a task you have done 10,000 times over. Your hands already know the whole of it without a word from you. Your mind is free to rest. Outside, the fog pressed itself against the cold glass, and the cranberry bog lay dark and still below. Inside, the little room warmed by slow degrees, and the lamp threw long, soft shadows up across the old ceiling beams. And the cedar walls, cooling gently from the warmth of the day, began very quietly to speak. Cedar is a listening wood. That is the plain and simple truth beneath the old village story. The cottage had been built nearly 200 years before, from red cedar cut in the woods nearby, and cedar breathes along with the weather. In the warmth of summer, it swells, tight and full and silent. In the cold, it draws in on itself, contracts and settles. And as it settles, it creaks. Not the sharp crack of something breaking, nothing to startle you. A slow, low wooden sigh, like the house turning over in its sleep. Elias had lived long enough to hear the difference plainly. The creaks of summer were lazy and few and far between. But when the nights began to turn, when the cold started to gather down inside the boards and stay there, night after night, the whole house changed its voice. It creaked lower. It creaked more often. The floor answered the walls, and the walls answered the beams. And that shift in the timber told him, as surely as any signal could, that autumn had truly arrived. Here is the part the village really meant, the part they circled around at the market and never landed on. The cranberries in the low garden never turned their deep autumn red on a fixed day either. The leaves of the bog only blush when the nights drop below a certain cold, and then hold there, night after night, for weeks on end. Not one cold snap, not a single early frost. A patient, gathered, accumulated cold. So the plants in the garden and the cedar boards of the house were reading the very same thing, the slow deepening of the season, and they answered it together, quietly, at the same time. The house and the garden knew before the calendar ever did. That was the thing no one could quite explain over the crates of fruit. The cottage seemed to wait, and then to wake, as though it had decided all on its own. But it was never deciding anything. It was only feeling the cold it had already gathered, deep inside itself. Elias understood something about that kind of waiting. He couldn't hurry the cold along. No man ever could. You can want autumn as much as you like. You can stand at the window and wish the leaves to turn, and not a thing will change for all your wishing. The season comes precisely when it comes. An old philosopher, a long time ago, wrote that some things are within our power and some things are not, and that peace begins the very moment you learn to tell them apart. Elias had learned it out here, without ever reading the book. He never fought the calendar. He never argued with the frost on the window. He kept the lamp trimmed and the kettle full and the boots set square by the door, and he let the cold arrive in its own good hour. His whole task, when you came right down to it, was patience. To be ready, and then to wait without any ache in the waiting. The house had taught him that, board by board, across 40 slow autumns. So on this night, he did just what he always did. He poured the tea, dark and steaming, into a chipped white cup. He carried it to the old chair by the window, the one with the worn wool blanket folded over its arm. He didn't switch on the radio. He didn't reach for a single thing to fill the quiet. He simply sat and listened to the house around him. A creak from the north wall, a softer answer from the floorboards beneath his feet, the kettle ticking gently as it cooled on the stove, the wind out past the glass, laying itself down slow over the bog. Each small sound arrived and stayed a moment and left again, and he let it, the way you let a wave roll in and slide back out. There was nowhere else in the world he needed to be. There was nothing left undone. The whole long day was behind him now, folded up and set aside, and the evening asked nothing of him at all but to be there inside it. Outside, the fog thickened, and the last gray light drained slowly from the sky. One by one, the far windows of the village went dark across the water. A single lantern out on a moored boat blinked once and then held still. Elias rose from the chair, slow and easy, and moved through the cottage, lowering things down for the night. He turned the stove flame off with a small, soft click. He drew the curtain halfway across the glass. He set his empty cup gently in the basin. The room grew dimmer and warmer and smaller around the one steady gold lamp. And the cedar walls kept on settling, kept on sighing, cooling by slow degrees toward the deep cold of the autumn night to come. You can feel your own body doing the very same thing now, growing heavier against the bed, growing warm beneath the blankets, settling, board by quiet board, down towards sleep. He carried the lamp through to the small back room. The bed there was old black iron, layered deep with wool and a quilt the faded color of dried cranberries. He turned the blanket down without a wasted motion. He didn't hurry. Nothing in this house had ever once been in a hurry, and it had quietly outlasted everyone who ever rushed across its threshold. That was its oldest lesson, if a house can be said to teach. The seasons turn whether you grip at them or not. The days pass whether you count them or leave them uncounted. So you may as well set the counting down for the night and simply be warm and simply be here where you are. Elias set the brass lamp on the low table beside the bed. He sat slow on the edge of the mattress, and the house breathed on around him, its old cedar voice low and even and endless, a sound very much like a slow tide moving against dark wood. The wind eased down to nothing. The fog held the cottage close, soft and gray as carded wool. Down in the low garden, the cranberry leaves had very nearly finished their slow turn to red, doing in their own patient hours exactly what no calendar could ever command them to do. Autumn had come at last, not because a printed page declared it, but because the cold had gathered long enough in the leaves and in the boards alike to make it simply and quietly true. The house had waited, the house had known, and now the house and the man inside it, and the whole hushed slope above the black, still water, all began to let the night gather them in. There was nothing left to keep watch over, nothing left anywhere to do. Only the lamp still gold, growing softer by the minute. Only your own breath, slow and long and even, growing softer along with it. Let it all drift now. And here at the very end is the whole quiet secret. The house never waited. It felt autumn in its wood. That's all it ever was. The bog and the fog and the low red house softened and blurred together, like dark paint loosening in still water. You don't need to follow any further. You don't need to hold on to a single piece of it. If you're still here with me, that's perfectly fine. If you've already slipped somewhere warmer and deeper, that's fine too. Somewhere the cedar creaks once more, low and kind, and settles for the night. Somewhere the tide folds over itself and draws slowly back. The lamp dims down to a small warm coal of light, and then softer still. Your thoughts begin to loosen their grip, one by one, the way the pickers laid their long rakes against the shed at dusk. Let them lean there. Let them wait for morning. There is nothing at all you need to carry with you into sleep. The lamp is out now. The cottage stands quiet in the dark, warm at its heart, its cedar cooling toward the first frost. It was never hiding anything. It was only feeling the autumn it already held inside. The harbor holds. The house waits the way it always has. And so can you. Good night.